when we discuss issues that we've been presenting in our program today. We have joining us online already with us is Yemi in Canada. Yemi, welcome back. Yemi, are you still with us? Okay, Yemi is not talking to us. Odebode, welcome back to Sahara TV.
Thank you very much.
Hansen in Geneva. Hansen, welcome back.
Thanks so much.
Ebi, welcome back.
Thank you.
Okay, I heard that we have a new caller. What's your name? Sorry? Kunya.
Yes, my name is Kunya.
Kunya, okay, welcome. Where are you, Kunya?
I'm in Turkey right now. Turkey.
Okay. All right, welcome to Sahara TV.
You're welcome.
All right, this Munzali, welcome to Sahara TV.
Okay, thank you very much.
All right, we want to start by talking about Nigeria. Tomorrow, the news will be that Nigeria is now the largest economy in Africa because we did something they call rebasing of our GDP. It's a big economic term, which simply means that our economy is now largest in Africa. So the question is, what does that mean? Obviously, it sounds like a good thing. What does that mean for the country, for the common man? And let me start with you, Odebode. What do you understand by that? Are you excited?
Absolutely. As a Nigerian, I'm really excited about it. Just the same way the Chinese was excited when they overtook Japan, and Brazilians was also excited when they overtook UK in terms of GDP. Yeah, but does that mean that the life of average Chinese is better than a life of a Japanese? No. Or does it mean that the life of an average Brazilian is better than the life of a United Kingdom citizen? No. But overtake this country in GDP. So what it actually means is that now we have more economic power to bargain. In the BRICS nation now, we can become part of the member of the BRICS nation. And the nation of the 20 most developed economy, which South Africa is representing, we can also find our way there. More investors will be attracted to come into the country. And to some extent, some economic decisions in the world will be invited to have a contribution or discuss parts and be a part of the discussion. It's a good omen, but that does not mean we have achieved. We still have a lot to do.
Okay. Let me come to you, Hansen. This good news. What is your take on that?
It's a good omen. You know, I'm happy. You know, there's no way someone will tell you that your country is one of the largest economy in Africa. That is something good. But what I'm trying to say is that it's good, but at the same time, what our government need to do is to make sure that the poor masses, okay, enjoy the good things, okay, the good.
Okay, Hansen, I think we lost connection with you. Let me come to you, Ebi, in Port Harcourt. What is this?
And the people are suffering. It's really, it's not encouraging. So they need to work extra harder so that the poor people, the layman in Nigeria will enjoy the whatever.
Okay, thank you, Hansen. Okay, Hansen, thank you. We had a delay due to the internet. So let me come to you, Ebi. You are in Port Harcourt, Nigeria. The same week that we are talking about this, there was another report from the United Nations saying that Nigeria is classified among the poorest, extremely poor countries in the world. Those two different stories, how is that playing with people at home?
Listening to local radio here, there's that same short-sighted statement about, oh, the common man, how does it affect him, and so on and so forth. That's to be expected from people who are not able to think deeply. I believe one of the biggest falsehoods we have ever experienced is that we're a rich nation. We produce, of all the OPEC countries, we produce second to the least amount, and we have, by no comparison, the highest population. That is why when we talk about an oil-rich nation, we are an oil-producing nation that produces far below know what it would actually take for us to have the kind of GDP a country like Saudi Arabia.
Sorry, there's someone whose live stream is up. Please, can you turn it down so that we can hear our guest? Abby, go ahead, please. Abby, go ahead. Okay, I think we lost him. All right, let me come to you. Munazi, is that, sorry if I don't pronounce the name very well. Remind us again where you called us
from. I think Abby is out.
Okay, yeah, I'm talking to Munazi now, somewhere. I don't remember where you're calling from. Are you still with us?
Who's this? Am I?
I think that is Simi.
Are you talking to me?
Yeah, is that Munzali? Okay, go ahead, Munzali.
No, I'm Ebi.
Oh, Ebi, sorry. I thought that we lost you. Go ahead, finish up, Ebi.
I'm sorry. I'm saying we have to get off that military centralized mentality where the federal government is Father Christmas. There are state governments, there are local governments, there are private industries, there are academic institutions where real wealth can be created in our heads. So the poverty a lot of it is our own making. We're sitting down waiting for handouts. 36 governors go every month to get a nipple in their mouth to suck from the teeth of federal government. We should stop that rubbish. Now, on the rebasing, do you know that the bad news is that our apparent economic growth will go down? But that means there's tremendous opportunity now inside our country to take a good look at what the real factors of our economy are, de-emphasize oil, and emphasize the other sectors like telecommunications, like services, like building, construction, and so on and so forth. And inside each of these, we can now create a new generation of Nigerians who are productive and not just waiting for somebody to feed us. This is a tremendous opportunity. We should not mess it up. And we should stop talking about what does it matter to the ordinary man. What has the ordinary man sat down to do?
Our line with Ebi is really bad. I have a serious question I want to ask him about the idea of going to Abuja to collect money by states, because the people who are against resource control, which is a major issue on the table of the National Conference, are saying one of their arguments is that, look, the money that has been given to oil producing states, we don't see them. So why are we insisting that they should have more of the money from the oil resources instead of giving it to the central government? I wanted to know, since Ebi lives in Port Harcourt, which is in Rivers State, which is an oil-producing state, what is his viewpoint about that? Maybe when we get back to him, he'll be able to take on that. Ebi, are you there?
I'm right here, sir.
Okay, sorry. Okay, go ahead. Did you hear my question?
About the oil producing?
Yeah, the
now,
idea.
You see, I will go back to this mentality. It's a false mentality. Because today it's oil. People are drunk and diseased on oil. The principle of resource control is not about oil. It's about resources. Do you know that this country is blessed with 1,000 different wonderful things and 170 million excellent things? We keep thinking oil is our only resource. We have columbite, gold, diamonds, different things, tin. We have even sand in some areas. Sand is necessary. Some countries have to import sand to construct. We have so many resources, but we all open our mouths and think, oil, don't give them oil. Somebody will say it has not been seen in the Niger Delta, in the oil producing areas. The ones that people have had in their own area, what has been seen? Why are you making a different standard for oil producing areas? Do you know the challenge of development in the Niger Delta? Do you know the water table and the low-lying areas? Do you know the equipment that you have to hire to develop here is much more expensive than what you need to do roads, for instance, in the north? It is a falsehood, a blatant falsehood to say that the oil money that is going to the Niger Delta is not seen, because you don't put it side by side with the challenges you must overcome. There are environmental challenges, there are terrain challenges, it rains over 200 and something days a year in the Niger Delta, yet you want people to construct. Let's stop talking on this very shallow surface level and start applying deep thought to Nigeria. Those people who are against resource control simply do not want to look within themselves and exploit the resources that they too are sitting on. Can anybody in the Niger Delta drink oil? Must I not import potatoes and yams and so on from other places? How come one state in the middle belt or the north does not become Nigeria's #1 groundnut producer, or why am I saying Nigeria, Africa's #1 yam producer? Why must it be oil? Let us stop this shallow thinking from all of us, including those in the Niger Delta. I think that oil is our savior.
Okay.
Those of us in the Niger Delta, oil is not good. We need to develop our brains, not oil.
All right, thank you so much, Ebi. Let me come to you, Munzali. The same period that we are talking about Nigeria being the #1, the largest economy in Africa, we also saw this story that Nigerians are now number three spenders in London. I don't remember where you are, but what do you think this new position of Nigeria the impact it will have on your life, or where you are, or perception of Nigeria from the outside world? Munzali, are you there?
No, it's Simi. Simi, talk to Simi.
Oh, Simi. Okay, Simi, go ahead. I know that you are there, but okay, Simi, go ahead. I heard that we lost Munzali. Go ahead, Simi.
Okay. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, go ahead.
All right. I want to thank you guys for the discussion so far. What I particularly think on that is that is this general perception, which has been long for a long time. Nigerians all over the world are known to be very, very hardworking people. The rise to being the #1 economic power in Africa, I particularly do not think this is something that can be attributed to the government. Look at the entertainment industry, for example. The entertainment industry has developed itself without much or without necessary input from the government. How many film villages do we have in Nigeria today? It is still an aberration that most of our new musicians who are coming up still go to South Africa to shoot their new movies. So it's just boils down to the fact that, yes, some of us and a whole lot of us believe in that entity called Nigeria. As a whole, we are a giant. But the problem we still have are people who don't have businesses in government, or perhaps people who don't have the altruistic motive for being in government who are there. Nigerians are ready to move. Look at Lagos. There was a time in Lagos, anybody will tell you, before you move out, the first thing you will think of is where to park your car. Nigerians are all over the world. In London, second spender. Also, when the amount of, I live in Zurich, for example, the amount of money Nigeria brings in from all over the world into this economy is just enormous. It's a very good indicator for us, but the question is still our government. Thank you.
All right. Yemi, let me come back to you about this news about, I don't know if you had a chance to talk about it, about the economy being, I read a report, I think that was on BBC, and they were talking about, even though we're #1, we are still underperforming because we have about 170 million people that we should be performing higher than this. Do you think we are going to, because if you listen to the Minister of Information, Maku, talking about this, he was very happy as if they accomplished a lot, and by tomorrow the world will change. What do you think we should do more? I mean, give me your viewpoint.
Yeah, it's a good index that we're reaching this point, but like what the other guest here has said, there's so much more to be done. And one thing I know every developing nation needs is power. Power is a major industry we need to invest in so that other sectors can take that huge step to the next level. And unfortunately, I know there are, a lot of the privatization of power holdings, and the distribution of power is handed over to TCN. And there's a lot of things going on in the power sector in order to make that solid. And if that comes true, I think it's good progress for Nigeria as a nation. But like what AB said earlier, that we're focused on oil almost 100%, while we're looking away from other sectors. But however, I want to. There are some states. I went to Osun. I went to Osogbo, and Osun State doesn't really. They don't have internet generated revenue is very low when Aregbesola came in, but he's been able to turn that over ×3. And I kept on asking people there in Osogbo, what is he doing? How is he generating that money? So he's looking outside the box in other industries that could actually generate money for the industry. Take tourism, for example. Take agriculture. I learned that they're working on an international airport in Osogbo, and he's trying to develop a road network to reach out to farmers in the most remote area of Osun so that they can bring out their produce. So the point is, yes, there's pockets of development, but we can do a lot more. We can do a lot more if corruption. There's a lot of funds going into corruption, and we're just looking away. And we have such an irresponsible leaders in place that I don't know what AB meant by saying the masses. If you hear Obama talking, he's always talking about the middle class. Any economy is built on the backs of the middle class. So we cannot neglect them. So if the middle class, the people, the masses are not being fed well, they can't eat, they can't clothe themselves, they can't shelter themselves, there's nowhere to go, because it's on the back of these people we're going to build a stronger Nigeria.
All right, Yemi, thank you so much. Let's move to a different topic because we are running out of time. I just want us to touch on this because it's very important. Last week there was this about a House of Horror, and we discussed it on the show. And this week we now know that even in Abeokuta there were other houses that are used for kidnapping. I spoke to the OPC leader during the interview we had, played that sometime today, and he said that there were many more places like that will be discovered. People are being kidnapped and people don't find them, and there's nothing anybody is doing. Odebode, how do you feel about this idea that it's widespread kidnapping dens across Nigeria?
Yeah, thank you very much. As I said earlier, I told you the rate in which the population is growing, the rate in which people are being brought into that country unplanned for. Do you know, okay, let me give you an example. Do you know how many Nigerians women are in Benin Republic, are in Mali? How many Nigerians have died in the desert or in the name of getting to Europe? Do you know how many Nigerians have even died in the, is it the Red Sea, crossing over to Europe? We are so much that we no longer value life. Look at Boko Haram is killing people every day by day. When you hear news, 5 people died, you say, oh, thank God, it's just 5 people. You know, it has to tell you, okay, recently the military killed just 50 Fulanis. Everybody was okay, yes, there's going to be peace. I mean, killing people, we don't longer value lives. So we are really going to discover a lot. A lot is still being discovered. Okay, I give you an example. What about the people that was floating in the river in Anambra? Was it Anambra or Imo State?
Yeah, it was Anambra.
What happened? What is the outcome of that case? We don't value life. What is people? People is of no value to us. So it boils down to until we really come down to see that, man, we need to really, human life is sacrosanct, that we need to preserve it, and each individual that comes in as a Nigerian must have a value. If not, people will die like rag, nobody cares, and more homes will be discovered. That's it.
Okay, Hansen, let me connect this to another story of Boko Haram this week. There was a report that about 1,000 Boko Haram members were killed by the military in one attack, one confrontation. And how do you see that story? Do you think that there were a place that 1,000 Boko Haram members assembled and the military just went there and slaughtered them. How do you read that story in a country like Nigeria?
Rudolf, what do you want me to say? Yeah? I doubt that story, but if they say so, the most important thing is that I hope that tomorrow Boko Haram will not attack another area, another part of a northern part of Nigeria. Okay, if the military could be able to exterminate 1,000 Boko Harams, that means that by now they're not supposed to be there anymore. Okay, but the truth of the matter is that who was there? Do you see the video? Do you see the pictures? How will we believe? So that is it.
All right, let me come to you. We're running out of time. Ebi, I want to ask you a question that based on the fact that I know you left here and went back to Nigeria. I wanted to tell me or tell us, the viewers, your perception of how Nigerians value life and how we attach importance to things like ritual killings. Is it so prevalent, and why is that? What do you think is responsible for that? Why people tend to believe in these supernatural things that entails killing people and using the body parts to do voodoo or something?
Well, I'm glad you said the word voodoo, which I think many of us have heard of from places like, what's that country very near
Haiti.
south of Haiti.
Yeah.
And if you look into some of those historical things, you find people were killing people, sacrificing them in the old South American countries. I think the first question, how do people value life? It really must depend on the circles in which one moves. There is not a single person that I'm aware of in any of my circles who feels that their progress is going to be dependent or enhanced by the taking of another's life. Rather, we seek to compete on the basis of intellectual ability, whatever. So I have no honest, direct frame of reference. Having said that, in a society as fractured as Nigeria, there will always be people who think that a shortcut to whatever it is they think they're dreaming of would pass through the lives of others. I can see no justification for it. These stories are literally horror stories where you find people who are just kidnapped from the scene, missing persons showing up as skeletons. The question that we should be looking at is, how can we set up the necessary forensic facilities that can, even if a person has become a victim, that can subsequently identify them and then put them into the frame and context of their families and so on and so forth. So it's very sad when we have these sad, horrific stories, but I'm always about solutions thereafter. I am more about creating an identity system and a forensic system for subsequent, identification. And you find that can be used for solving other crimes. So there could be other advantages that could come out of it. Where we love life, we have boogeymen. We're afraid of things that go bump in the night. But I don't think we're too different from many other societies where people are afraid of things that go bump in the night and they have their boogeymen.
All right. Let me
Rudolf,
go to... Yeah,
Rudolf, I want to say something.
No, hold on. Let me come to Simi, and then we round up with what's keeping you up at night. Simi, I want to ask you, this week alone, I saw pictures of people, one man in a Ebonyi state with the head of his father that he killed. There was another person with the head of a girl that he killed. Now, when you watch this outside the country, outside of Nigeria, because now we all have cell phones and we take pictures, what does that say to you? How do you feel about that?
Honestly, Rudolf, anytime I see things like that, tears, uncontrollable tears runs down my eyes. Because that person that was being killed could be my uncle, could be my father, could be any of my relatives back there. And it just shows us how our government cares terribly less about the plight of the common man. It is really, really an aberration that things goes like that. And The worst part of it is after the media frenzy, when the pictures have been flashed, when everybody has seen it, a few comment passes over it, it's just a weak thing. Then it goes like that. And the next we wake up again. Look at this ritual thing. First, it was at Ibadan. It was discovered. What happened? The Ibadan story seems to have been forgotten now. Everybody is now talking about what is happening in Abeokuta. Or who knows what's going to happen tomorrow. All these pictures, they just don't count up. How do you tell somebody the government is spending a whole lot of money, billions, trying to lure investors to come and do whatever thing serious in our country, which of course we don't need anyway. If you want to tell anybody to come into your house, do you tell the person to come into a burning house? No reasonable man would jump into a burning house. Nigeria is a country under fire. People are dying like cows every day. The other day, children were killed, and Jonathan and his men were just sitting in Asorok celebrating Nigeria at 100 years. It doesn't count up. It brings tears into my eyes. And I hope one day, if Fashola can do as much as he has done to reduce crime rates in the city of Lagos, why can't the president just live up to his responsibility as the president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria and do something? It's John Ketty. A couple of days ago, he was in Rome. Before you know what's happening, he's in Geneva. He's just abandoning the responsibility and allow people being killed. It's terrible seeing these pictures.
All right, Simi.
There's no better word for them.
Simi, thank you so much.
The issue of Rudolf, should I come in? Please?
No. We're rounding up now. I'll come to you. When I come to you for the roundup, you can say what you want to say. Yemi, give us what's keeping you up at night. You just came back from Nigeria.
Well, Rudolf, you didn't ask me about this ritual thing.
You know something I don't know? Okay. Say something and then round up. We're out of time. Go ahead.
Okay. I like what Simi said. That's the truth of the matter, and it's so unfortunate. The problem is actually if you go down to the people themselves, there's no love. There's no humanitarian kind of feeling. Nobody feels for each other. Even if you are driving in the road, the person wants to jam you. You'll be scared. You'll be like, what's wrong? Can't you give me the chance? You say, no, you just... So it boils down to the kind of society we are evolving into. In the 80s, it wasn't like this. This kind of news is not rampant. But you can see it all boils down to everybody wants to make a living, and they're ready to do anything to make that living. And you'll be surprised, even the private sector, people in offices, they'll be going into offices with charm, just to be able to get promotion or whatever. So now, to round it up, what's keeping me up at night? I know we're days towards the election, and we hope Nigerians will come out in masses and vote for their choice. That's what's keeping up at night.
All right, thank you so much. Odebode, what's keeping you up at night?
Recently is a comment made by Fashola, and I think such comments should not come from highly placed political leaders. He made mention that Olusegun Agago, the current Minister for Trade and Investment, is not a Lagosian. It does not represent a Lagos interest, and I think that is a ridiculous statement from such a political officer. Agago was born in Lagos. Despite his parents from Edo State, was born in Lagos, schooled in Lagos, even before going outside the country to go and work. All his interests and everything has been in Lagos, so he should not bring the issue of indigenousship and ethnicity into politics, because it's going to harm his political ambition badly.
All right, thank you so much. Hansen, what's keeping you up at night?
Yeah, Rudolf, back to what Estini said, the problem about that horror, whatever, at Ibadan has been there for almost 10 or 15 years before Good Luck, okay? So even in Obasanjo's regime, the forest was there, and they did not do anything about it. So it's not about Good Luck Jonathan. Let us be clear on this. Because it's too bad that whatever that happened, we push it to Good Luck Jonathan. I'm not his spokesman, but it's not about Good Luck Jonathan. All I want to say is that the elites, okay, knows what is going on there. Okay, the elites, they know what is going on there. And I believe that the government, with police investigation, and also the masses need to push so that they get the people that that are doing that thing, they get them accountable. Okay.
All right, Hanson.
So that's all I want to say. So what is keeping me up at night, Rudolf, is election 2015. So I hope that things will go on smoothly. All
right.
So
thank you so much. Ebi, what's keeping you up at night?
What's keeping up at night is that Nigerians are entirely not preparing ourselves for a bright, brand new future. We are focusing on getting served instead of serving. We do not seem to be preparing ourselves for the real challenges of the world ahead. The former mentality of somebody sitting down and getting handouts is dead, gone, buried. We have to see ourselves as the world citizens, world-class citizens that we are, and start adding value to the societies in which we live and to the world at large, and stop complaining about everything else. It keeps me up at night that we're about to have the largest African economy, and people are getting pedestrian comments like, how does it benefit the common man? That keeps me up at night.
All right, thank you. Simi, what's keeping you up at night?
Well, Rudolf, the dream of a better Nigerian, a Nigeria where electricity stays forever without blinking, potable water, where healthcare is not a matter of somebody is ill and you have to quickly rush the person abroad even for the slightest of headache. The dream of seeing a country that can actually attain its true potential and claim its right place in the committee of nations. Nigeria is a country that has the potential. This morning I was looking at something on YouTube from Fela Durutui. There was this picture of Africa, the African map that he kind of tilted down, and for Africa to get up, there was a kind of an arrow that pointed to Nigeria. So if Nigeria is able to move up, maybe someday Africa will take the right place and will stop just being slaves to anybody. It's that hope that keeps me alive, keeps me aglow, and I want to see that. And it's nice Sahara TV is giving a platform for this.
All right, thank you so much. I want to thank Yemi in Canada, Odebode in Canada, Hansen in Geneva, Ebi in Port Harcourt, Simi in Zurich, Switzerland. Thank you, guys.
Thanks so much, Rudolf.
Always a pleasure, Rudolf.
My pleasure. Thank you so much.
All right, thank you. When we come back, we are going to show you some of our shows, Keeping It Real, Dr. Damages, Africa in the City, and so on. So stay tuned.